Friends, hello. I'm glad to see you at the headliner release. And today, we are talking really deeply about the crypt with a person who is very immersed in the industry in general from a technical point of view. Sergey Maslov is my guest. Yes, the technical director of Fintopio. Look, I know I just recently left Binance. How long ago? Well, more than a year already. What served? Bitch, you can't. You can't say yes that you were fired, can you? But everyone says, yes, I left to do my projects. In fact, I left to do my projects, to look for myself. I had a crisis of 40 years, and I really left, and thought that I would do my projects. And I really did my projects. One of them was a podcast. He's still alive, but he's so straight on thin. And their own projects. But they didn't shoot, they didn't take off. Listen, and this, by the way, is a cool topic that many do not discuss. Everyone comes and tells a success story. So you left Binance, you had a cool career, and then a certain number of projects didn't take off, right? It didn't take off at all. And what do you associate with? About the market, because it was like that. Because you're not ready. I'm looking at you now, you're all not ready just yet. Not ready. It's all pepper hands. It was last summer, and it was just the bottom of the market. You just do something, and people are like, but okay. Do you know what the crypt is? Cycles of some startup here. A startup can at least usually live there for a year. And here. Still. And here, well, X10, all X10. And here in the crypt, look what the trick is. If people don't pay at the very beginning, they will never pay. In some kind of service, you design some kind of service with parking lots, with some kind of charging. Some kind of wheelbarrow for you there, so people rolled up, charged something. You are at least on investor money, how will you live your token? And people don't pay in cryptos. They don't pay everything. This is an interesting case. That is, it turns out that if you started right away, and you didn't go to rhubarb, then it's unlikely that you will somehow finish the production of this. Or you will live, burn the investor's money, if you have. You are your own investor, you know about how much money you generally just spend on food. For housing, for some other things. Plus, throw something into the crypt, boil something, buy something, hire someone a little bit, and just see. It doesn't take off for a month. That's it, close the next one. And how are you doing with the podcast? All right. I have a straight takeoff of views. I have now started shooting in a better studio, there are some assistants there. What topics are the most relevant, the most that fly in? Any interesting questions? And come on, here's the very question that most often, you have it better to climb everything. I have a question, open up. Actually, I'm going to ask you now. Look, Nikita, aren't you often at conferences? No. But? Do you go to any parties offline? Rarely? But I'm not, well, I'm on contract terms with you just now. It's going to be hard for you to answer it now, that everyone knows you and they're like that, you know, everyone's prepared like that. And when you think about it, here you are a now name like that, but usually. The usual straight ever. So you took a bun, coffee, something there. Well, here's a break of some kind. Do you want to network? And he looked around, some guys are standing next to him. And these are the concrypts of the kinf. And what kind of question would you ask them a question opener to understand what a person is doing? Look, I don't have that kind of problem. From the point of view of dating, I'll explain, this is a skill. Any confu? I visited 35 con in the crypts in the 18th year. Now I regularly listen to the American conflict, no one knows me. For example, the confa of YouTubers gave, no one knows who is sewing. And Filate World Conf knows me Russian speaking, but there's like 90% of non-Russian speakers do not know. Hi, what are you doing? I wanted to introduce restrictions, yes. You have no right to ask specifically what you are doing. You need to somehow know such an easy question like this opener. Very cool. It's a real pain. If it were brazen, I would ask, how much is the maximum amount of money you earned in a day? That's interesting. And he's just going to start talking. But he probably won't answer, but he will tell you something. But why? Surely people have some kind of spikes. You know, I just had a trigger, and I went to the Flute World Conference, but they didn't make an advertisement. Just like this kind of question opener. How much money did you earn the most in a day? And there the dudes are like, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000. I'm sitting here thinking, yes, I'm some kind of beggar, in short here. Yes, and the next question was, how much did you lose the most in a day? But it's more about traders for me, as it were, because it seems to me, to investors, they are less that they are, as it were. This is my most popular podcaster question, and it's also the most popular interview question. Exactly related, how do you assess someone's knowledge in the crypt? And I have some really cool answers that I came up with myself. Ask you. Come on. What is nonce equal to in your MetaMask, for example? Well, in that case. I don't know, yes, what is it, but? I'm not ashamed. This. It means that if you often transit, so that transactions do not quarrel in the mempool, they have. The counter. Will it be what does it mean quarreled in mempool? Me. Quarreled. I do not know what that means. Well, look, I seem to have some kind of transaction on proof. Well, it's often. And here you have all subscribers firm. The spring. You can? Not. Very much. So, what does he use? Link. Well, we live in Utah, we don't live in a MetaMask, we don't even live in a palace, we live in a throne, in a system. Well, in general, the throne. This is a compatible system for them. They just have addresses without 0x at the beginning, because they have a little bit of converted. It's also an absolute story. Yes, I told you it would, because the address is in the throne, it is brought to the address, well, as in the Ethereum, with the help of one command there, it's simple. The same one. In short, when you do this, a proof, you need to send spanning faster. Here's a parole you need to send to all your partners there, I don't know. So, send money to all of the X's. You're like, come on, faster. And sometimes a transaction has to come one earlier, the other later. Well, because, for example, if you send a spinning, it will not be spent on the staple, rough did not come. But rough, for example, hung up. Such a standard is of the nonce type. This is an auto-incremental counter. That this was the first transaction, conditionally this is the 25th. The next 26th. And by the number of nons, if those who read, after all, what do they sign, how do you click, as if leaning on. You sign. You read that you subscribe. It is advisable to view it sometimes, because there are very scam sites with scam transactions. But I think everyone reads the news, they lose, they get to the bottom. At least what you signed. And if you look, there's like this auto-incremental counter there. And some people who have been in the crypt for a long time really have several thousand names there. The one who makes a transaction once a year, he is there 10. And you can understand roughly how much the level of Krypton is, how much is he in DeFi, how much is he, well, like how much does he use it. For me, in short, I'm the level of a blade of grass in the crypt because I don't even know what a nonce is. It's very cool. I understand that such things, on the basis of which you are telling, are probably a little more difficult to listen to somewhere. That's why we're probably going to interrupt a lot today, because here's a conversation with guys like you in a bar. And every podcast I have is like a conversation in a bar, it's a super expansion of consciousness actually. Not from the point of view of even there, maybe some X's, yes, as we say. But from the point of view of the general fundamental understanding that we are all gathered here. You worked at Baina after all, and most importantly, you have a networked role. The joke is why it is very interesting for me to communicate with you now, because I have built all my projects in bundles with you. There are always two of them, figuratively speaking, Steve Jobs and Steve arose, yes, that is. There figuratively, it is in my concept of the world, that you arose in the crypt, figuratively speaking. And all my projects are always built in conjunction with technical guy. I'm talking like this is my tech avatar. That is, a person who understands business and interprets it into technical language and understands how technology works in depth. Because I, for example, am responsible for marketing, and there, how would you be there for the technical stuff? And it turns out that a lot of bundles are built this way. Very cool. Even now, I have a queue after a kind of hamster combo. Yes, many people there probably know that I was responsible for the entire growth of Hamster Combat from 0 to 100 million subscribers. People write to me straight, listen, we're like very cool in technology, we can do something there in 2 days. Let's go 50-50 and help us with marketing. And it's really cool to have someone like you on the other side. Tell me a little more about what you did at Biden, because as far as I understand, you worked almost in the Chinese department and not in the Siang. Yes, I worked in the Chinese branch of Binance. I got there. This is a very interesting story. Baina wrote them to the recruiter himself, they wrote to me. I thought it was a scam. And where did you write? To the post office. They found me on the legend, wrote to the mail. Sergey, let's talk. I think, well, it's a scam, of course. Well, like I've already been written to Binance there 100 times, they offered to buy something cheaper there. Bendica is cheaper there than half the market. Well, that is, I think everyone wrote from Binance, but how would I check there? There's up to the main name, what's there about the present? Oh, it's not zero there Baina with whom? Well, in short, I checked, I answered. And a series of interviews with the Chinese began right away. I used to work as a mobile developer on. With what? That. The developer was a direct lead of AOS. And, in fact, I got to Bainos, to Fiat, to the Chinese divisions of Bain there. Fiat was engaged in just the mobile application, that is written on iOS, which most people use. I collected some of the screens there, I delivered them. From the technical point of view, there is this interface, which few people know, swipe. Like from below. Via. I found out about it after a few months of work. They are for some reason. It's not. Is it specifically hiding some functionality for Apple moderation, or is it a technical solution? This? I think it's all related to what, and that's like, the concept of super app. And in Tinkoff there, if those who use Tinkoff, there are a lot of chips hidden in the application itself. Plus, they have a donned, there was content that was executed. But this is a little circumvention of some Apple restrictions. That is, Bain has a whole world hidden on the main screen. There's a whole world out there. Bainos is just a huge machine, a huge corporation. From a technical point of view, according to the logic of Binos, there should be some crazy crutches for Amazon to pay for servers. Or for Google, there is almost a lot of ABC there. The dialect? Yes, we can talk about it, I think. You know, there is a certain rule to which the Binos is supported. In the public field, you can say what is written on the Binos website. And it's very simple, well, broadcast to the masses. You can only say what is written on the website. If you are flipping to Bainos, for example, and suddenly you told someone before Bainos himself announced that you are flipping there. Some projects are sinning, then, as a rule, Bainos can tell them, yes, we have mastered the money. There is something that we have put on the air, we don't give it to him. That's it, goodbye. So you can say what is written on the Binos. Next. The fact that everyone, I think, can be asked where Binos sends packets, that Binos is, well, hosted by the Air Force. And one of the largest payers in the world. And about this. Seriously. Well, yes. Naturally, what is extracted from public sources about Binance, we can safely talk about it. 2 and 3 million unique viewers per month, 70% of which are men aged 25 to 44. That's what the headliners are today. And if you see this video, then you're in luck. This means that there are literally several advertising slots available now, which the team and I decided to allocate for external advertising integrations. And you can take one of them. If you have a product that you want to tell our audience about, there is a link in the description of this video. Go ahead, fill out the form, and our team will select for you such an integration format that meets exactly your goals and objectives. Don't miss this opportunity. Enjoy watching. Why did you choose Fintopio from your projects after Binance? Very interesting. Because, I saw you. We took a stand at the conference this year. This is what I have on Blockchain Life. Well, maybe we will make some bets when it was exactly as cool as we did there in April. At a super stand. Yes. In a kind of blogging format. You just took there right in front of the VIP entrance. Where the photo zone, and put that 911th. This is GT3. Oh, 3. Yes. I couldn't pass, because I paid attention, I think. Wow, you kind of did. Why out of all the companies with your skills, with the experience of working, did you choose Fintopio? Listen, there was also a transitional company. In other words, at the beginning I did my projects after leaving Bain, hosted podcasts, did my projects. And then there with some people from Bain, we began to make Bain 2.0. Yes, we wanted to make Bain 2.0 and Comax. But this? Well, such a secret name was for something that didn't take off there. And I was the head of mobile development there, and we were looking for a seat. After 10 interviews with others there, I realized and everyone realized that the most ideal network. It's me. So I became at first not a Fintopio, but another not a small exchange. And then I was lured away by Fintopio. So, tell me please, who is in the crypt? What is he doing? But it's like a regularist plus a deep expertise in the crypt. What is your daily routine? What do you do on a daily basis? My God, there's just a lot of stuff out there. Here are those who mistakenly think that in the crypt it's just you, like bought on Loy. Yes, I sold, fixed the profit. And most of the fates. You think like this. Damn, where to spend this money now? That's not really the case. There are a lot of new routines, they are built on routines, on the tracking of tasks, clarification of statuses, clarification of blockers, communication with people, reading some new products, what has come out in the market. Exactly technical innovations, what service providers have appeared there. There are some people who come to partner with us. And you try to study their work model and understand from whom they buy something that they give to you. That is, as it were, a narrowing of supplies. That is, there is a delivery of something, any date, and they take somewhere. And like to understand, but how to get to the supplier of all this. The same as in the usual commodity business, the same in the crypt. Then permanent hiring, and some kind of technical leadership. I'm also a speaker at conferences, and I have to come up with something unique for each conference, so that there is no such thing. Sergey, are you showing the same sliders at the conference? What do they give you to perform at the conf? Expanding the hiring funnel, the reputation of the future. That's the purpose of speaking at the confa. I don't know, I'm just flattering my ego. Cool answer. Yes, but of course not. This is one of. I just like to perform, I like some kind of performance, I like to bring something to the masses. I once upon a time, you say in the 18th year, around the same time, I also began to study the crypt closely in this 18th year. I myself am from the province, from Saratov, yes, and come to Moscow for some conferences. And a lot of times, sitting like this in a huge hall, therefore 5 or 6,000. I hear when they just drive a technical blizzard from the stage. And sometimes there are indecent moments when someone from the audience shouts something there. This. Or asks a question. Or some kind of straight here. This is what I do sometimes, it's not very decent, guys. And I realized that I wanted to somehow change this world and broadcast real technical expertise in some interesting format. Talk about complex things just to make people think that it's not cheap to buy, it sells more expensive. That there are more complex fundamental points, and this can be sorted out. What is the dumbest answer to any question you received at an interview? I asked a question to a technical expert in the blockchain with some certificates. There was a man. We were looking for CTO, it wasn't seat. I asked him a question about understanding blockchains. It was about the following content, that I invented it myself. Listen, the question is, how is the interview on the set? So you CTO and your guys have put together some kind of dub. A distanced application. I think all cryptons know that you connect a wallet somewhere, something is there. For example, there is a regular landing Boeing protocol that simulates the operation of a bank. There are two buttons, a deposit, for example, and a loan. That is, you have deposited something for this amount there on credit, and so on. And at some point, you need to make a demo with some kind of stakeholder at the highest level, and the guy's front fell off. But we need to show at least something. What can you show? Only the front fell off. Well, I would write a command through the terminal, send it from the wallet, and that's it. Well, somehow legalized in theory, the front is not a problem for there. There is. Blockchain. Well, like the right answer. To speculate that there is a blockchain, some kind of explorers. Show that blockchain transactions work. Yes, you can show some more old versions from past demos. To show that it's all in the blockchain. That is, the trick of all dApps is that you have, as it were, a front, this is a front. And there is some kind of back in the blockchain, and most of the back lives. It's hard for you, of course, and it's hard for me. From the point of view, we're talking about terminology, there are dApps, all sorts of things, yes, decentralized applications. Yes, here's the fact that you have decentralized applications. I just understand, this test is for mom, well, that is, for a wide audience, I just feel, There are podcasts in short that are. The X's are shorter, bought on the Loy, sold on the Hey, made a type of X1000, or bought with a cap. Let's go. And there is where. I know for a fact that this is super interesting. He'll watch us with you. The Iron Man really wants to figure it out at all. Well, in general, we are having a very intellectual conversation with you right now. He's intelligent, he's not that emotional. But you know, that's when I'm there. Well, in short, it's just that I kind of know, the further the topic is to us, in short, it's more difficult from the point of view that our expertise is growing in something, and many things that are daily for us, here they are, as if we understand them here. They are very alien to the general market. They are really alien. Because you say, for critics, where it is clear. I understand that for 99%. I do not know what a DEP is. I don't know. I don't know. Here, think about it, the real world. Listen, there's another question that not everyone gives the right answers to. I'm amazed. How is the web to different answer? I don't know. The fact that everyone says that you're already in front of my authority, in short. Some people just say that. Well, hamster, how much do we have? 300 million users. We're going to do the same now. Taken, the largest airfield, and that's it. Listen, well, globally Web2, Web3, as I understand it. In your own words. As I understand it. Then I'll say it in my own words, but it's not necessarily right. As I understand the concept, figuratively speaking, that into is the internet in which. This is a general rate content user. This is where users generate content. And Web3 is where. But here it's difficult, as it were. Here I would say that this is a deeper penetration of digital money. That's what it is. That is, I am a concept. It's also a lot of money. Yes. Even here in Koshka from those times there are Durov, and the current ones too. This is Web2. There were bills there too, there were voices. They worked like a cart. You paid there in the Prilka, everything is clear in general. But this is Web2. Web3. Web3 is when most of the user data, user interactions, and all kinds of payments are stored on blockchains. Or on some kind of decentralized media. And there is such an example. Look here, Web2 Vike. Some years they came to Pavel, asked him to sell there somehow, not to sell. In general, there was some kind of overturbation with the Vike. Was he forced to? Yes, and he kind of sold out. And can you imagine, he would have been so, well, I don't know, stubborn just stubborn. He would say, no, turn it off. His brother goes, turns off the plugs from all the sockets, and all the data centers. The air goes out. How does the user see it? Here the user had a wall, photo albums, some family albums, friends likes, friends marks, he was marked somewhere. A whole social life, and he always considered it his own. But when Paul ordered to turn it all off from the socket, it all went out. This is VP2. And now look, if there was a Vike Web3, that is, the pictures are stored, let's face it. Paul cannot be commanded. He extinguishes only the front, but Becca has everything. And immediately, the craftsmen assemble a new front, maybe even more beautiful, with interesting interaction. And everything works again. And that would be the web. 3. And this, I think, is necessary as a sufficient solution, that when someone can rewrite your front as he wants. Let's explain it to the people at large, guys. But sometimes I do these inserts. Yes, I explain. We're just talking to you. Come on. You see, we work a little bit on camera. I have been making mobile websites and mobile applications since the 2013th year. That's why I've been there for as long as I count, but I've been in this market for 11 years. I remember that I explained this topic to people 10 years ago, you know. Many still do not understand what the front is. For you, front and back. It's all clear. Here's the front. You know how any project is created. There is initially some kind of design program, Photoshop there or like a Figma, right? Figma now? Well, now it's popular, figuratively speaking. Photoshop does not draw. It's just a picture, it's a design. Then this picture and the design, it is so-called made up when the picture turns into code. That is, figuratively speaking, when you have all these pictures beautifully drawn, you can run them in the browser, in the iPhone, in the phone, from the computer and so on already in the format of a code. How does it work at the code level? I don't know what you have, I don't know, there's a picture there. This means that this picture is somewhere, well, it's loading parcels there. Here you see this thing. And the back, which we are all talking about, is in fact, the logic that this is when at the front, when you press a button. I don't know there, nothing happens. At this point in time, how to buy. It turns out that there is a request, the so-called back, which performs logic, which just says that when you click the buy button, you need to send it there and draw a new page. That, in fact, is the whole device of the web and what we do. Many, by the way, do not understand that all mobile now Telegram Mineps is generally a mobile web. It's generally mobile. In 2000 of the 13th year. Yes, 2000 of the 13th, 14th year. Just a mobile version. With some modifications, limitations, modified technologies. Let's do it again. Does anyone, I hope, use your Uniswap, Pancake Swap, some kind of swap with a VP? That they are swapping something, I hope you have subscribers. Oh, and I think not, by the way. If we are talking about the CIS audience, what do I see in the market? The idea of this anonymity of the crypt, the idea of swaps, the idea of decentralized applications is like this. I can't call it a privilege, but it's a priority for either high rollers, figuratively speaking, people who have large capitals, who simply don't want to be associated with exchanges, don't trust sex. Let's take an example from the public guys. For me, these are examples there, I don't know, Sergey Kitrov, Alexei Kitrov. Guys who exactly use steps. Or it's degens. This is a narrow group of people who are right deep in the crypt, who are involved in this. But 80% of people have never launched Unislab in their lives, have never picked up their wallet anywhere in their lives. This is, well, what I see on the market, and how I have 4 million unique viewers a month. I still probably feel something. Because they don't need it. A wide retail needs one exchange, and just a basic one. Here is a classic scenario: you changed money through an exchanger or through a P2P, put it on the exchange, and either traded on features or bought tokens. In the perfect picture of the world, I also threw tokens somewhere there on the ledger. That's it. The entire use case scripts are 80% of people. But only diggins who dig, who hunt for pellets, who understand, who are interesting, who are just such adepts. Or people with big metals regularly use all this history. In the Western market, it's a little bit different. For example, in the same USA. Why do I see this market differently? Because there is tax legislation there. There as soon as you are something somewhere. Because I already have guests, we write podcasts in English. We're all not going to have a very interesting conversation with you. For example, I had a Torchain run foundation, which most likely stands under the hood of all swaps and exchanges in Fintopio. Him. 2 others. Well, Torchain is worth it. I know. Trust, BitGet, you know. A lot. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. There, from the point of view of tax optimization, do not shine your wallets, do not link them with exchanges. That's how this story thrives. In other words, we in the CIS do not worry about taxes or any other stories at all. We think that Biden is not leaking any data, that no one is exchanging us, that the exchangers are not leaking data anywhere. Although let's be honest, I just have a lot of guests, right? Everything in short, that's all that concerns the living, everyone cooperates, and everyone drains the dough. Not money, but data. But this is in my picture of the world. If you are not detailed. And in the States, this is the culture, as it is. Why sleep is growing, wallets are still growing, and why the whole story is growing, because you have 2 irreversible things, taxes for you. The use of centralized services, and not for the light of your wallets, allows you not to pay taxes. And no matter how much we think that Americans, for the most part, they are honest, they are decent, not others. I don't know much about my world map, especially at retail, at the retail level. People are very worried there when they are then sent a tax statement for tens of thousands of dollars there, you know, figuratively speaking. And very cool, if you can. They have a criminal record for taxes, but for now it's simple for us. Yes. Therefore, in my picture of the world, this is so. And on Uniswap, let's just even conduct some kind of survey. Now I'm going to write right in the cart, have you ever used Uniswap at all? And we'll find out, yes or no. Okay. And I think there will be. While you're writing, let me tell you a little bit. On Uniswap, there is not only a chip to change it to B2C, but to change the token USDT there to a Q ball. There is also a function to deposit liquidity, that is, to become a liquidity provider. To put a pair, for example, a Q ball, you will be given a receipt in exchange for a token. Then the receipt can flow somewhere and earn some other partner currents for additional rewards. That is, people, those who degen understand this. What's the trick? If suddenly Uniswap has a front, it's unlikely, maybe. Many of some sites that copied the logic of Unis have it sometimes. Will it all remain in the blockchain? This will remain in the blockchain, and you can take it and rewind in the history of your wallet through the Explorer, the Blockchain Explorer. Find a smart counter where you went, and it has an enter, and call the sign transa button from the browser interface, pick it up, and you will take your money back. That is, in fact, if Unislab is dead at all, then the money is not dead. And this is the trick of decentralized finance. If Tinkov's front falls. I had such a thing that Tinkoff had servers. Think about it, I stood in a long queue at the gas station. There is no access, yes. And such a happy person to pay for gasoline, I think, finally. And Tinkoff lay down. Well, there was a spare card of the savings bank or something else, that is, there was an extra couple of thousand rubles lying there. I refueled. In the case of Diffie, of course, the blockchain can get up, but you can always extract it. In the case of centralized finance, you get in line of debtors, and someday you will get married within 6 months there. And so it is. No, I use Ava and stuff myself. I kind of understand what you're talking about. This is generally understandable. But come on, you know what, explain to me why he thinks that the blockchain. But where does he work at all? Where does he work? Stupid question, tech guy. Where does the blockchain work? Here, figuratively speaking, if I understand that Tinkoff works on ABC or on Yandex Cloud, that is, there is a physical data center that stands somewhere. That's where, for example, here works. And what kind of blockchain exactly? Let's talk about the Ether, about the most popular. About the Ether. Is that so? You can put an Ether node yourself. Why are there 2 types of them there? Somewhere you can have a stake, where you can just sign transactions as a sequester. You can talk about the Bean Chain, which is copied from the Ethereum, and there are about 21 notes there. All of them are friends of Sissy, are somehow connected with Binance, and host these notes. And no one can, that is, it is considered to be a private conditionally blockchain, that is, you can't node. It is public, but the nodes are only for the elite. And, well, blockchains have them, as it were, everywhere and nowhere. You can put the node on your home computer, or in a virtual machine, and deploy it there. That's all the same, well, from the point of view of the Ether, so the market feels like that, after all. The majority there is 80% of the market, how does it work? And also in the cloud the same avs are sitting, but, I think so. And why should I physically put it under it, if it is possible to rent it cheaply? Plus, you have dynamic scalability there, you paid a little extra, and at your house you are like, my god, this needs a new one. Buy iron. There's a new screw, sit with it all. Okay, let's go back to the FinTop after all. Because as I understand it, what are you building? Are you building some kind of analog of Tinkoff or something in the crypt? But yes, but I do not know, are your listeners familiar with the concept of CityFi? That is, there is CFI, yay. You say sit down. And what is it? That is, we have both a custodial and a non-custodial wallet. This is such a deep retail story, when we can help the user choose. You want to be responsible for the keys yourself, to be responsible in a decentralized way. to store your assets, so that no one will block them for you. Or the center is centralized on our servers, but under our responsibility. And we combine, as it were, the world of Diggins and the world, as you say, retail. Krypton retail, which are used to keep on X. The Cheng. Well, that is, in fact, you have the same bundle of Binances, but in one place. Yes, Bino will collapse in one place. The story is very popular. Most exchanges, they are firm centralized solutions towards decentralizations. Let's get on the subject. And we are the opposite. Let's talk. How many users are about to be dumped in the morning? I think it's under 100 million. In my opinion, less. The goal for this year, in my opinion, is 20, something like that. Well, maybe I am. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm with 300 million plus holders. Well, that is, figuratively speaking, here is the size. In other words, it turns out that the Binance is from 3 to 5 times more, correctly, than centralized financial ones. Well, yes, centralized is much clearer. The fact that there is a help there. For you, as in the ratio, which is more. We have Ceph users and now there are negligible compared to DeFi, because we have just started to open Fi for selected regions. In other words, Cepha is, first of all, a regulated history. In the world of finance in general, it's normal, not DeFi, if you start working with clients, you don't know who he is. And took at least a little money from him, you are under regulation. And that's why you need to know who your client is. Well, like basic K voice A, K enter. In other words, he has given you a little crypt, you need to check the crypt, that is, you pay for all this to the providers of such services. And this is a more complicated story. Therefore, we have much less in CFI. We just opened it just a month ago. And how does it come to a new wallet at all? I understand that this is more of a technical part. I'm just trying to figure out what in general can prompt a user to change a certain wallet. Here he is sitting on the highway, that is, I can understand when he is there, here is really a case he was sold it. As they were called inside. Indeed, the BitGet was sold to him by the BitGet inside. Or, figuratively speaking, there is even, for example, a tone there, yes, inside the shaft, the will is rebuilt. But there are some people who somehow take off on the tone of the hub, what else is there? Tone keeper. Keeper. Yeah, that's the joke. What motivates users in short? But among wallets, it is the convenience of use. The fact that some wallets were left as if in the 2017 year. Collapsed until recently. Well, for example, he was just. That's how Viktor Radchenko made it in the 17th year, for himself, and for friends, as he called it. So it remained. No, it was wildly infuriating, why wouldn't Binance rewrite it? Although there is everything for this. But they improved it. Flexible, various swap exchange systems between the token, backlight, Pinel analysis. I am now generally speaking for wallets. Not all of this is implemented. Functional. You start interacting with some site, your wallet says to you, listen, my friend. You and 1.5 cripples interacted with this site, and then cripples from some incomprehensible countries there. Are you sure you even want to make a connection to this here? Well, like you made a connection, do you really want to give proof? Is this even some kind of off-scale? That is, to highlight what kind of smart contract it is, what kind of site it is. To somehow help the user to interact with it with everything. Wallets can do this. Further, wallets can conveniently within the framework of their wallet. So there are telegrams, yes, they have a mini app. It's actually a web container. Now wallets are launching a web container on their base and minigames or external swaps are loaded there. Wallets are a whole, well, a very large industry. Well, for example, I have become an active user of Sola over the past couple of years. I've been using it since Step's time. And I realized that I do all the exchanges inside, that is, JAMG, Peter, Jub, protocols or interfaces that exist there. I just run them inside a Kaka or MetaMask. Inside the MetaMask, I open the Uniswap. All right. The fact that I would very much not recommend me to use swaps inside the MetaMask directly. Well, it's not profitable there. Yes, because Meta has to earn something. Here he is at this moment to earn. No, I mean that I use a wallet and open it to others already inside the wallet. Yes, because look this. The wallet is your underwear. You kind of trust him. And the fact that you are being broadcast a wallet, some kind of swap, you treat it with great confidence. Up to the fuck commission. Although there may be a commission sewn up, there may be a modified Uniswap or a Uniswap with a referral. It's very like that. You need to be very careful. Here I have, yes. I also had a podcast, Thor is being felled, by the way, also guys, a wallet. Oh, I have, since there was a podcast. We talked a lot with wallets. How many users do you have in the top? Which ones? Who at least open a wallet at least once a month. I came when there was CFI, DeFi, and we added another third fee. No, let's talk about DeFi, let's talk about DeFi. About DeFi. It is about the wallet. We also have the ability to export external wallets, that is, we can, for example, contact Volia there with Telegram. And help to transit by passing Volia, that is, make a Fintopic wallet in the cart by default. We have just the top 4 last month. Recently requested data, I forwarded it. There were 1,200,000 users who at least once hooked up or connected a wallet. In general, they did something. Yes, and I decrypt to people what the top is and why it passed the data. Top is Telegram Open Platforms. This is the organization whose website says that it will achieve several organizations like Tone Foundation, Tone. In general, these are the guys who manage. In general, no. Yes, in general, the network itself, and not everything in these abbreviations is confused. In general, these are the guys who understand how this blockchain is developing, what projects, what their focus is now, who are making an open league that interacts very closely with projects. And they ask us for more stats for some of their internal purposes. And what do you think it is? Is it a funded project or a project? And you have already passed the break? No. Exactly a point without ordinariness. No. No. Cool. We're still eating our own. Which big vision in general is where the company is going. Oh, that's right, I like to talk about it. Big B is a super app with seamless user interaction with crypto assets and with holy assets. So seamless and understandable that the user, for example, has such a case. Here's the briefcase. Here I have one. Case. You want to send a tip to some person who is on the other side at all. This is a very popular story in Dubai. It's cool for you to have someone serve you there, I don't know, in Restic. There are systems in Restic as usual, somewhere in a taxi, and you want to send Chivas, but you didn't go there through an application. You just want to send a person. You won't actually pay him in any way, because the cross-border is very complicated here. Very expensive. But he, imagine, has a cart, you have a QR code, and opened a chat with him. And you are in a chat, for example, using Fintopio. You cannot leave the chat context without creating a crypto wallet. Go, for example, there are 5 children for T. From the command line. And people, here they need to understand, the crypt is not a crypt. He then, having received from you who can, I do not know, fiat to go buy something for himself. But it turns out that you then have a huge back-end hemorrhoid of interaction with banks with settlements. This is a huge technical structure, exactly. But we are now building a structure that actually makes fiat flexible, it ramps and off-ramp. So then a person could, conditionally leaving the wallet interface, issue himself a virtual Apple Pay card. And was able to buy food for himself. That is, you gave him the kids like, well, under the hood, our CFI was processed by the country, and then he was able to buy something for himself once. And which geo do you focus on from the user's point of view? We are now watching Turkey, India, and we are somehow watching a little bit. Listen, why? Because it looks like these are completely different use cases. As if, figuratively speaking, there is Turkey. In Turkey, people, as I understand it, generally just save money from inflation. For example, I'm not at all. In Africa. And there is such a thing in Africa, yes. But in India, for example, what are they doing? Ludo beckons. They use clickers, use opportunities to pick up some drops. But micropayments, especially to the cross-board, they are always relevant. Then there is such a case, my vision. In general, a wallet. Who doesn't know what a head-up display is? It's like in a car, you're in between. Projection. Oh yes, these are some kind of projections. Head-up display. It's from games. Any Counter-Strike, there are some kind of Wii. You have lives here, mana here, then some kind of inventory. Here's my idea of what an ideal wallet is. It's a head-up display in the real world. Only we have a head-up display in use. That's when you started saying, yes, we have everything on the throne, we have everything on the throne in use. That is, in fact, you kind of use the display like this slightly. Everything else is in the person's wallet. It's here that I bought some kind of token, it fell. Oh, this token has grown up with me, and here I have some framed Neftishki, some free, bought, which were bought back in the last bull, the day before last, which was not given anything, it's just some kind of vinaigrette there. In my understanding, the wallet of the future is a head-up display where you not only have her kids, but you have various assets that you use. You and Neftishki, like a subscription to music, like a subscription to access some beach club, like a subscription to service in some kind of, I do not know, cars. I'm hanging out. And then you and Neftishka have the right to demand something in the real world. Subscription to electric transport, subscription to charging, subscription to a hotel where you have a room that you marked. As I'm renting it out now and money is dripping to you. Or you don't rent it out, I live there myself. The subscription means that you enter from the interface, from your wallet, open your own housing there. Horizon. The horizon. And it will be over the next 2 or 3 years there. It just depends on whether the product we are making will occupy a niche there or not. It will be so anyway. And everything in the movies of the future is predicted when there is some kind of head-up display. And this is a connection with a crypto wallet, because your inseparable right to demand something. This is access to the moat, but real objects. And what is going on with the server in general, especially, you know, maybe in Russia. That is, in the States there is more or less somehow. Although it's not fucking clear either. It seems that there is something, but what, for example, is happening with air double in the CIS regions? Listen, in Russia, instead of a moat, it is customary to say SEFA. That's what it is. Digital financial assets. So, we have passed some legislative initiatives. We have about 10 blockchains, often private. Master, chain, some other chain. About 10, they are not interoperable and people. Interoperable. It is not interoperable. This means, for example, if you purchased NFT in some blockchain, I'm sorry. Can't you? No, you can only sell it here, you can't bring another blockchain, and no work is underway. But you can pay that for it. Put it up for sale somewhere. There are offs issues on these blockchains, and they are all under sanctions yet. In other words, it is dangerous for capital. And most likely the capital is not flowing, and well, this is such a Russian SEFA. I have a feeling that the main one is not the beneficiary, but the opponent, for example. Well, who doesn't benefit, for example? It is not profitable for the same states, for example, it seems to me, to drive a certain digital dollar. Because then it will not be possible to increase the national debt indefinitely. Because yes, because the one who manages the public ledger, his ledger, the ledger, he manages everything. Of course, then it will be seen, like, why you typed it. Yes. That's as if. What, you know this joke, when three people got on a desert island, and each, well, the plane crashed, and each stole something from the plane. One managed to take the door, another had $100 in his pocket, and the third had a notebook with a pen. And they ended up on a desert island. After some time, the one who was with the notebook says, I bet, now after some time, I will have all the items that you have. Everyone is like, come on, well, we bet on something. He sits and tells the dude, listen, he says, why are you sitting with $100? Let's you put them to me as in a bank, I'll give you a promissory note at interest. You'll put $100 there at 10% per annum. Although I'll give you 110 in the end. Like, okay, come on. Then he says, why are you sitting with the door? Let me buy you one for $100. Then he says, but listen, what are you doing here? Let me give you a percentage of them. And in the end, an hour later, the person has everything there, but only 2 receipts that he just wrote. That, in fact, is why the states, of course, do not want to. In general, everyone who prints money, they don't want it to somehow shine and control the recipient's story. Here. This is exactly where your advertisement could be. Each of our issues is watched by tens, and sometimes hundreds of thousands of people. Not counting the millions of views of shorts and reels on Instagram. There are 2 options. You can buy advertising on my t-shirt, it costs $3,000, or you can buy advertising on a guest's t-shirt. For $9,000. You can submit a request using the link below. We continue. In other words, have you reported to the top 4, 1 or 2 million users? Yes, but in fact, these are users who have interacted with. No, users are actually more. And according to the number of users I see in Google statistics, there are several million of them there, who somehow interact, open there. But those who are exactly here is something with a wallet, something that DeFi do. Tell us the current most relevant case here is a Fintopio. What do you use there? Why should I use it? How would you be cunningly fence here? But we have been offering sending crypts by nickname for a long time. In the cart. Yes. So you don't know. You know this hemorrhoid, give me a wallet. And you copied all the letters. That's where you know there should be a lot of letters. And you're like, at the beginning there are 5, you compare, at the end there are 5. Such, yeah, it's not fakes, it's just that there are all sorts of ransomware viruses, which means that you copied the clipboard. They sometimes tune the clipboard and substitute someone else's wallet. So many people lose money. So be careful. This, on Windows or on. Everywhere. Advice from Sergey. The first 5 to check, the last 5 it's very difficult to fake, because some of these viruses, do you know what they manage to do? The numbers are like, well, the wallet address, it can also be mined. And they start mining a similar number that they copied into. Yes. So that you put it in when you looked at the first 3 there, but 5 from here is almost impossible. That is, it is very resource intensive, expensive to mine. And this hemorrhoid, we kind of decided to bypass it. Such a bio case that you, using in the cart, just write messages if you are dead. Fintopium, Fintos dog. Pay, you can send it. The crypt. How's my first one? Without knowing the wallet. I'll send the cryptune. I have a concert, I think immediately in my head that I will hang this money inside the cart. For example, at some point in time, I formed for some reason through 10,000 of the TT for that, then my I was blocked. And at that point in time, it was not anywhere else in the spring, for some reason everything happened for me. It was not supported by any finances, nor by Bobit, of course in my opinion, by anyone exactly. For that. On tone. Yes. I, in short, hung with this TT on the tone. Really hung up. I think, oh no. Someone sent me 10,000 from TT on tone. I didn't know what to do with them because I didn't have an eye. I couldn't take it off. I sent them to a friend of ScienceX, and he exchanged them for another network. Probably, it was possible to make some swab somewhere. Every time we touch the cart, I subconsciously see that the thing pops up. I'm going to send the money somewhere inside the TG, but will I be able to expel them to the Ether network, to the Binance network? When it appears in a tone or in some new blockchain, who is a fairly new blockchain, as if the last one has been hyping somehow for 2 years. Some asset appears, then, as a rule, the one himself, the organization that serves this blockchain. They come up with a certain number of bridges. There were breaches, but they were quite expensive. They charged almost 0.5% for any sneeze there. You could, using bridge, change. But the cheapest way, really you chose the cheapest, is to send it to a centralized exchange that will accept you on this network. In your case, you gave me a transaction in. You didn't send me 100 TT in a cart there by the nickname Fintop. Look, it all depends on your current settings. Fintoya? It all depends on the settings. If you chose. Under the main one. Come on. Wallet. Then I will send it for free. You know. And if DeFi I will pay the tone commission. Give me the best case. How do I find your wallet? A Fintopio dog or a chat pay dog? Wait, stop the question. Can I find it in the App Store? In the upstream, you can just say yes, Fintoya. The first case is Fintopio. The second one, can I find him in the Telegram? And, by the way, the cool difference is that if the Telegram suddenly goes out, it's sometimes gas in the summer especially. People don't. That is, they finish. Yes, you will see the same thing in the mobile application on Android, on IOTA, and on the web. It's like this is ours. I have an American passport, I don't have your application. And this one, or this one. And the first one is the most. I just have the American side. And that's fine. Oh, okay, come on, so this is it now. I love you very much. You know, when every podcast is like a conversation in a bar with someone met, and, accordingly, drove. Night Fintopio, right. I'm writing a Fintopic right in the cart. Yes. And you? And you will get Artemishka. This one? 1 and 6 million users with a tick. How did you get a tick? They passed, and the proof is at the cart. Cool. So, I started. So, this is DeFi felling. What is everything in English? Come on. Ours. On the contrary, it's good that. It is necessary. Admit it. That's what the American App Store is. No, not me. Everyone. I'm pro. This. I advise us to always set the English interface so that main brings down transfers. Yes, I agree to what? Well, do there. I'm trying to choose and past Casey. How will I choose? I don't have defy here he will offer you to create it later. Because why are we starting? Well, because we are moving the fine now. That is, you broke everything. I broke the Finto. It happens. You know, as always. You have. Yes, when someone does not show a tick, when he wanted to download and use the product. Well, I'll close it. Sometimes it happens, sometimes this queer ID does not give us the stem for interaction, and we hang there in some context. Oh, that's a funny problem. Okay. Listen, well, so many cars had this. And earned. I cannot with defy, I can immediately make a defy, open a new one. Yes, you can create that 12 words, you will need to go through this onboarding. But I'll do like everyone else, I'll just take a screenshot of these 12 words now, and that's why. This. $1. Never do that, in short. And why, by the way, is this a popular honeypot attack, do you know? So, wait now. In short, I'm an interface dude, I'm a productologist. I can't see the button, the crate is coming down. I look at the center of the screen, and poke here, and I want the crate to come down here. I know the Soviets. Well, you know, I don't see this button. It is necessary. I'm used to it. Down. There is a bar at the bottom, and the Cray Knox button is located under the bar. I'm poking here, and I don't understand why the Cray is not being created. It's just like this. Point of improvement. Listen, do you have a Russian language? It depends on the cart, but you have it in the cart is English. I don't know. We take the context. Okay, come on, me, in short. My phrase is like this. It's never done that way. He took a screenshot of the phrase. Look, what's going on? You're a mobile developer. You take a screenshot, it started in your Apple. If you have Google or Apple, Nepal, it's all gone to the cloud at this time. Everything has already flown away there. And you know such insights of the day, when he makes a mix of your photos, you think the algorithm does not know how. He does not have OKR turned on. He does not know how to remember what is 12 losh, what is not. I have everything. The second wallet is centralized. In fact, I do it all on purpose. So real. I wanted to remind the guys about the honeypot attack that sometimes users deliberately seem to do so that their 12 words have leaked. Wow, what kind of topic is this? Don't you know? No. And by the way, I have some bots in my podcasts at one time come and say, guys, here are my 12 words. I can't send money to cakes. And you if you get their 12 words. So, there's really $100 in the dude's wallet. That is, the real case is $100. But you start sending them, there are no gas tokens. And you think so, well, how much shipping is there? But 0.5 tons is enough. That is, you take it there. The sun? How much? Are you taking it? Literally $3, you send it there. They seem to have reached, you're just fishing for 100, but they don't seem to be there. So damn, what's the deal? If you unwind the blockchain, you will see the essence of the pot attack kitchen, which steals literally $2 or $3. That they have a bot written there that is very close to the mempool, to the miners and so on, which very soon, after receiving a replenishment for these $3, immediately drains these $3 to zero again. And people purposely go and spread their sit phrase like fools. I clean my block all the time from such fools. This is a honey pot attack, be careful. When someone tells you, here's my sit phrase, I can't send money, help, guys. Most likely it's like this. The calculation is that you will replenish a little bit. I made a wallet here. How can I top you up? Can you send me money to my wallet now? I can. The fact that I lit up my sit a couple of times is not a singe fight for you. I'll send you to Cephii. You choose only Cephii, then I will send it to you for free, and you as something that you can use. Look, there's a Diffie contour. By the way, I don't want to send you to Diffie. Do you know why? Because my hat is suffocating. $5 to pay Justin scam in the throne. And I'm not crying. Me. And I have a Tron link. Do you have a delegated? Stake. But no, I have 4 a stake on. I have a separate account, in short. I know you stake and delegate. That's what I delegate to. This. I only have 38,000 thrones for a stake, but how would they help me? They allow even the activities of a small crypto exchange to be serviced. 88. Approximately 7 to 8 transactions per day. And I just, when I need to, I have a lot of wallets, I pour energy from this one wallet to others. That's right, it's smart. Like, but in ordinary ones. People. And sometimes. This. Retail, yes, which is paid. They are not smart. Well, so you can Fintopio within the framework of the Cephii contour, that is, with an internal one. All right. I'll send you $1 and you'll get $1. Well, there are how much, so much. All right. Not. By nickname, is it Diffie or Cephii for me? This is both Diffie and Cephii. It's just that you can be smart too, and you can take it and put it so that I accept all payments only in Diffie. Then I will be doomed to pay a commission. Okay, wait. That's how you can send me now by nickname. Money. You just need to go to the Cephii now, start taking Casey with you so that the Cephii opens. That. Or I'll send it to you, but then you'll pass Casey and you can use the money. No, wait, it's me. Can you get it? Well, can I get into Diffie by nickname? Yes, right now. What we are. Let's get it. Here I want a case like this. I don't want to go through Kivasi right now. That's simple. It's just it's such a piquant detail I have. I'll send it to myself. I'm on my own. I have. At my Diffie. There's no money there. I keep it on a chain. I'm so believer. Let me just send it to the target. By nickname. Yes. What do I need to do by nickname? I'm here now. You're just going to broadcast your nickname to me, Because with your assistance in general, what are you to me now, my personal just? Yes. Come on. Give me your code. Yes. Where's your code? Well, in the corner. In the corner of the cart. In the corner of the cart. Oh, did he make you a cart in the corner? So that I can write to you directly in person. I'm taking you in person. So, here's my personal. What are you going to do to me now? Anxiety is anxiety. Then I remember you. I'll take you. I'll write a chat pay. Come on. Or Fintopio. Nah, I already did that. I have already added in your top and said, for example, 10 of the children. What did you do? Wait, can I take a look? I wrote Fintopio 10 of the children. But a dog is not a dog of Fintopia. This is an inline feature in the cart, what we told you about. The fact that you call on the Fintopio bot to help you send money to someone. But start writing dog. I'm writing. No, I see it. A dog is a copy. And you say, for example, $10. Directly in the chat to me. Yes. But then your Cephii is not open now, so. She's right that there will be. But now you see it's stalling because your Cephii are not open. Okay, let's open the Cephii now. It's just cool. These are direct insights into how it works. Or we have bought out specifically, for example, chat pay, which we are now popularizing. You write a chat pay. So, well, he's kind of talking about K fines. You say how much, then I want to send it exactly. Yeah, so he hooked it up, says, Sergey, do you have 231? I say, well, yes, this is the balance. And that's it, I sent you $10. So, take it in a personal account, now take it. And in person. I'm going into a personal account now. I don't know. You don't even have a nickname for me, you just sent me to send. Yes, without a nickname, but in the context of a chat. So, I said you need to. It will? Well, let's go through now. You just brought the documents to get. What is it sure of? Of course. I don't have one. Well, you'll walk out of the house later, you'll have $10 there. That is me. No interest overpayment, all that. All right. And then I can immediately send these $10 to any of my exchanges, pay for it. We can? You can just make a Visa, but then you will pay the fee of the blockchain. You need to guess too. Well, that is, you now want, God forbid, in the throne to send these $10, then you will pay $5 for. But tell me, have you solved this problem? Here you sent me 10 super common problems in the market. Many people are like, I have dollars here, but how do I send it? Not enough from the throne. You convert the autoconvert. You can charge a commission firm without asking me, for example, to replenish this case in the throne. Or, it's in the throne, right? Well, either second, or on the air. We are currently working on a popular solution that you know about. That is, we have 3 stakes on our corporate account. And pouring, yes. But people are a little chargeable. Of course you're lying. Can you start with $1 now? The joke is that I want to pay the VDT commission. Yes, it's called. Sometimes it is done at the blockchain level. In the case of the throne, this can be done with the help of plugged-in Terexes on the master account, which spills energy. Yes, and just charge this equivalent to yourself in dollars. That's it. It's exactly like that. Is it not working? This is currently in development, but it's like a feature of a wallets. That is, it is like this. This is a baseline in general. And on various popular blockchains. Why, in your opinion, does the trust not conduct this function, which can be paid for and completed? The main problem of all crypto wallets is, I have money, send me Ether. I can't send it, I don't have enough for gas. Well, I read the news, watch all sorts of podcasts, subscriptions, and so on. Since I think I'm lucky to have such a thing. In general, all wallets are a baseline, that is, this is what prevents mass adoption. This is an additional gas story. Still won't do it. Because some blockchains don't support it. The throne, for example, supports this. In other words, there must be some kind of master account on each network, where he concentrated something, spilled something. Sometimes some routing providers like Venintia, those who make swaps of all sorts of interesting, they also offer gasless. Payment in a token in some kind of USDT. That is, you buy a cue ball for a UT, but you don't have one. They say like this, dude, there will pour various technologies there, as they charge you for an intermediate token. Let's remind everyone of Ivan Itch's cool function. In fact, this is the most profitable routing they offer in terms of. Not always. Well, they are anyway. They're trying. You need to find a way. When you are in decentralized finance, as we essentially swap one money for another, they try to give you a more optimal path. And why? By the way, here's the Fintopio under the hood, where we're going. We have several routing providers for each network. We also clean the best Quatesh. Well, that is, there is a certain fast request format there, which operates there for 60 seconds. And we also request from several suppliers. And powerful aggregators do it too. They are in the process of taking the best rates, with a time interval of a minute, and users are leading there to occupy this niche. It turns out that you are like a wallet, you draw your little phi, then this router takes care of its little phi. And then the final swapaka cha takes care of it. No, in fact, the wallet does not charge its phi. It's impossible. The user has access to the transaction, and he signs the transaction alone. He sent the money there, that's it, the crypt is gone. You're not going to earn anything on the wallet side here. But there are some points, contractual arrangements with suppliers. With routing. Yes. They then make you some kind of cashback. So, this cashback then, retrospectively, we can charge a referral to the one who did it. Yes. Yeah, but it's for me, guys. This is a more complicated story, but in retrospect, everyone who brought this user here, who for a transaction to level 1 to level 2, will receive their 1% there. And the commission? A little bit from the point of view of routing. There is a final swap ALCA. This is the uni swap. Yes, right. For example. And I sing uni is weak, there are still 10 swap ALCAs there. Well, on every chain, yes, there is. Conditionally. The alternatives are like this. And these routing companies, they are in fact, well, like in today, or like any other, or like a Tor chain. They actually choose the most optimal way. Here you have to buy 10 bitcoins. They will change 3 bitcoins on swap to on. Yes. They also crush. But you sign one transaction, they'll figure it out for themselves. Yes, they will crush it for you, for example. In other words, they will see that, for example, if 5 bits are sent here, they will push the price a lot. Therefore, they will make, for example, 7 for a uni swap, 3 for some kind of pancake swap, 1 there, I don't know. Depending on the amount for a sushi swap, they will swap it all there. And sometimes they make swaps more complex, that is, a Q ball on Ethereum on her with TT. That is, you will just have an array of signed transactions, and in the end, you sold 10 bits there in one transaction. But I do not advise anyone to sell a large amount in one transaction. It's better somehow a little bit, even in diff, because this can lead to someone standing in front of you for transacat, that is, using your slipsheet. That is, there will be a sandwich attack, a front run, a back run. That is, he needs to be very careful. B. You are deeply immersed in the crypt, you are straight and in technology, and it is clear that you are not such an evangelist. But how would I call you a diggin to some extent? Besides the fact that you're well as Steve-O. What do you think about the latest hype related to MEMS? Because it's like no one needs all your swaps, gas optimization, rowdy, or 1L2. There are, for example, dogs, yes, the Department of Public Administration Efficiency, and there are caps like VEEF, MEMS. Or some kind of Sonic Obama. I have a bad attitude to MEMS. I'm a little condescending, because after all, MEMS have gored a lot of people in his criteria. I treat them very badly, because people, as a rule, lose money for them. Come on. What about the success story? Let's have such a history of bodies. All success stories end up with the fact that the one who earned it easily is then shaved on a neighboring mem. And mem coins. This is a very, very tricky game, and those who are at least a little bit in mem coins understand. And I imagine it's like this big poker table, where you fly some cards, but the game has been going on for a long time. You have some kind of hand, and some aces there, jokers, but you don't even see the size of the table. And who is still sitting in the dark, some players. And if you don't understand who is being shaved here, yes, most likely you are a hamster, and they will shave you. But this is a casino. You will be given a win at the beginning. But this is a table, for example, with bets on $1, and next to it there is a table with bets on $100, $1,000, and so on. You're here, maybe you've gathered everyone on the table. So this is a special user of flow mems, but on another table you will be shaved, and there you will buy on hay. And then the mem will throw. But there is such an interesting facet that, imagine, here we are at the table with him, he is highlighted. It's like this. Here is our mem table. And there is some dark side, where the light is not like in the studio, so where is the dark side? And you begin to understand that a mem is shooting, and sometimes you take a ride about them, and this is pure chance. But those who are sitting in the dark, for them it is not an accident. For them, this is just a vector of development for the design. They know the partnership, they know which of the public personalities will say something about the mem, how it will be advertised. And they begin to want to get into that team, and at that moment they cross a certain line. In mems, on the contrary, it's very prestigious, as you say, yes, I know a friend, they're a friend. He said it would grow. In fact, this is a stake, to which, most likely, some percentage of this token will fall off. And he is engaged in insider trading and the creation of pampantam schemes. In normal countries, and those people who work with finances like this, they are imprisoned. And then they just have such a stain on their reputation. They are with finances never again in normal institutions. Here with mems, wow, you're a great dude, you're some kind of predictor. No, he just knows the marketing plan, he knows the listing strategies, he knows which exchanges are currently being negotiated with. He knows how much he is pouring into marketing, usually hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he knows it all, of course. He will buy it, therefore $10,000, and then everyone will close, and there will be a success story. And what do you think about Musk, as the main ambassador, it seems to me, of all mems? I think that the Musk is preparing for us to be president in general, and he should have been put in jail for a long time. Because he pampered both Twitter, and pampered Tesla shares, pampered debt. He did a lot of things. I believe that according to their laws, which for some reason do not work against him, it means that he is some kind of God smeared. He is being prepared for president. And the presidents of the world, perhaps. These are my ideas about. An interesting concept in general to me, by the way, I never thought about it, but it looked. It's being prepared, just watch. Look here. Imagine a fantastic movie. An asteroid is flying to Earth with aliens who want to. Well, some kind of evil on the naspelly. Have caused the love of the Earth they want. Well, some kind of evil. And all countries are like this. We need a global government. That's who one of those people is. But I also immediately highlighted it, but here. Who will we choose as the president of the world? Only. Just a mask. Because they are preparing some kind of special role for him, so he can smoke a joint on the air, he can pump dump, but they say to him. Well, okay, he's a little sick, but he's a potential president of the world. Therefore, he is allowed to. Who is this? An invisible hand. Come on, there's always some invisible hand. This is normal. It's always there somewhere, an invisible hand. And even more, I will say that there is such a concept that an invisible hand has made. That's what anyone now says is a conspiracy, a secret conspiracy. And everyone thinks, but you're a fool. It was an invisible hand that spent a whole of money so that those people would be considered city lunatics, who talk about some kind of conspiracy. And there is a lot of conspiracy. We look at the activities of magicians, there is some kind of conspiracy. He has some kind of movement set up to show people that there is a backstage going on. This backstage, what's the conspiracy? No, it's just a different view. The camera, if you shift a little bit at a different angle, they will understand what kind of focus is happening. So the lubricant, I think there is a trick. With memes there is a trick. Well, when you cross the line and think like that, what's at the table? What's their plan? Just look, if the listing plan of the Cohen mem is really the people behind it, then you can safely now understand where you can almost take a lot of bucks. It's easy to become a dollar billionaire. Some promote let's keep an eye on the wallets of insiders. Oh no. Insiders will change the wallet under the new mem Cohen, who will be for Pamplin, who will make them hundreds of X's. Therefore, I think the activity is connected with the mem, not quite honestly. That's why I'm slightly hating memcoin. Such silence is great, gentlemen. No, I'm just yours for sure responded at all. But, actually, there are condescending relationships. Come on, Nikita, that memcoins have freed people after all. Some cat in a hat. People, maybe, will begin to understand after all there is a cat, a dog in a hat. And what is it? How does it work? Oh, but can you make your own mem Cohen? And they will start. My God, when they make the Cohen mem, and the early holders will close about people. That is, anyone who invented his Cohen actually invented liquidity, new money. He is faced with the fact that the early holders. Here they bought, he is green, he is red, because they came out. And life in the crypt, it's such that you wake up every day if you are connected with some coin, and you work 24/7. To prove that you are not a scam. And that's why some projects are even skimming. They have something broken, that is, some kind of technical scam is happening with them. Not because it's a scam, because they're just tired and all pause, and the early holders stopped believing. And it looks like a scam. Therefore, it is very intriguing. And when you know the entire listing plan, strategy, which bloggers were brought in 100, what will happen next? Of course, you will invest some yourself, but it will be insider trading. It's not fair. It turns out that you put 99.9% of the market with cancer. You kind of tell them, dudes, I actually bought the whole nozzle and bought it. Do you know what mint is? And you didn't buy it. You just found art money in the gaming industry. When the games were on the PC, there was such a prog art money for mobile phones, too. When you, for example, find programs in the computer, right in the head, that is, there is a memory cell inside the program code, where the game money is stored. I remember in Heroes of Swords Magic. Well, you can throw currency. And then you recognized it. First, you have 100 coins there, and you're like this, go look for 100. She finds 100. I spent 99 there. You say to her, and now from these memory cells, where did 99 become? It narrows the search, and then you find the desired memory cell. And you're driving all the nines in like that. And you don't have enough money in your heroes right there. You buy heroes in stores, and there you take revenge on enemies just like a super cheater, without using cheats, using purely such a hack. Well, memcoins are actually art money, where you stuffed yourself with nines there, distributed them to wallets. Poured some money into the listing, and you sit and like this, you pay money to bloggers. But in fact you just shave everyone who came to the table. Because it's a zero-sum game. The fact that the people who brought here from your bet on the poker table, they will all be distributed. And not at all in favor of, as it were, retail. So I think it's unfair. But this is the crypt. Pro-legislation. Is it boring? Yes. Who needs to know about the crypt? The crypt, you know, was recognized as property. I just had a podcast on this topic, you have some cool lawyers there, yes. And, you know, it's not like lawyers. That's how you talked about Musk. This is straight, I can say so, it can be a little bit insider or something, no. If we are talking about the CIS, yes, about Russia. Recognition of the crypt as property, or crypt-like as a commodity. To the whole world. Oh, the whole world. It seems to me that everything. Although some countries have a deviation. But because it is immediately taxable. In the CIS, the tax for ownership. Well, in Russia, this is the systematic work of several people there for several years who have been doing this thing straight. Big manners, I think. Lobbied. No, it's there. Well, it doesn't matter. This is a strategy, because we need to explain it to everyone. I mean, I know perfectly well that I understand perfectly well why it's not moving. Well, you're sitting there, figuratively speaking, you have a central bank there, you have inflation, you have rates, you need money here. You need to collect taxes here, there is a big business here. Some kind of hustlers, some kind of market, some manners, some kind of this story. Well, how would you just prioritize your tasks in order to lobby for it? Think about it, you need to lobby there at all stages so that it reaches there, I don't know. There from the tax to the legislative block and so on. I just don't want to do it. So you don't want to do this. It seems to me, up to what point? That is, when the president voiced the image there, you probably saw this legendary thing. The thing about canceling this Bitcoin. Yes, it's a signal. I'm not strong in politics, but I kind of have it there. But you know, they write speeches to him. What's the difference? A summons. Is he not looking? He doesn't watch the channel. This is a signal. No, it's a signal. That's how I understand how the work of the political system is a signal to everyone down we are doing. It's like a public green light. In other words, how does this happen? As I just appeared, as I, understood a little, there are, well, many processes being done for each other. This is a kind of game, yes, it's like this historically. The fact that, for example, there is someone who speaks and speaks with some kind of these are the messages of one. These are the messages of others, but I do not understand these messages. But I just have a few friends who, well, work there, figuratively speaking, in the State Duma. They read it all very clearly. And they understand, this is where it's written for this is for this. Everyone actually has some kind of goal there, and at all stages at the level of the State Duma, there, figuratively speaking. At the level of the president there, that's all. The fact that there is a green light in the crypt to charge everyone for taxes. Of course. That is. It was possible. No. Do you know what the moment is? The crypt has this problem. Here is the idea of DAO. The problem with DAO is that right now we voted with the guys depending on the token. But I think you know the mechanics. Now we are going to vote with your film crew that Nikita is going to Starbucks for coffee right now. And you know what the joke is? I'm going to run away from them now, and we will vote you according to the votes that were originally distributed somehow. Yes, Nikita is coming to get us coffee. And you're like, just say yes. I'm the boss here. Go get some coffee yourself. Ekushina will not take place. Also a script. The crypt is taxed there. This property can be taken away, but take it away. The murdered man is in some kind of police station, or court, or bailiffs. Well, the bailiffs will have to take it away. Will you collect the killed computers, crack the keys or something, encryption? How will you take it away? There is no execution. Yes, on centralized resources, but on decentralized ones you will not take anything away from anyone, there is no execution. So in DAO, there is not enough execution. That is, we voted go for coffee. You say, so I have free will, guys, no, I'm not going. And here's the problem. It is unclear how to select the crypt. Well, if only dissatisfied. Why? Is there a thermorectal cryptanalyzer? What? Well, it's simple. Thermorectal sounds very. But this is a soldering iron in the anal steamer of just a person who just starts to warm up, he feels and says, I give the keys. That's it. Friends, we're done. Do what you love, because what you can do, no one will do. But most importantly, please avoid using a thermal cryptanalyzer, because it probably hurts. Wait, don't turn off the podcast. Since you've watched it to the end, then you should definitely subscribe to my personal Telegram channel. This is at least. And also I want to remind you that in the description, you can find links to our business club headliners, the community of traders. All links are in the description.